everyone online is talking about in order to be a high value woman, you need to step into what? Dark feminine or black cat energy. But you know what? That did not sit well with me as a woman of God. And hello and welcome. If you're new here, my name is Irina and I'm a Christian relationship and mindset coach. Here's the thing. With the dark feminine, yes, it's powerful, it's magnetic, it's very strategic, but it's often rooted in control, in manipulation, and also survival energy. And you know what? Your energy is only as powerful as your relationship with God. And I wanted something different, something a little bit more aligned with my core beliefs, something that was still feminine and soft, yet very confident, truly magnetic, and also had a strong aura and feminine authority. So I created what's called white cat energy. This energy is rooted in God. It's something that grows from a relationship with God. So this white cat energy, it's graceful, it's elegant, it's classy, and it's aligned with God's principles because they are rooted in five pillars. Um, and these pillars are a very powerful force. They make a woman not just valuable, but very high value. So in this video, I will dive into the five pillars that give you this white cat energy, the five pillar high quality woman, not just high value, but also high quality. Let's dive into it. The first pillar is, of course, your relationship with God. And if you are here, that probably means you already have some form of a relationship with God. But for some reason, not everything is working out the way you expected it to work out in your relationships and in your life. Why? Because when you go through my programming, when you learn my pillars, you really learn about stepping into spiritual authority, not just being a Christian woman, but stepping into spiritual authority. You step into alignment with God because why? Our God is a God of order. He has certain principles and a certain order in order for things to give you a breakthrough and for miracles to start happening in your life. You begin to be more guided by God. You become more confident and your faith grows. And here's the thing. When you're building this relationship with God, your ego begins to die. Why? Because now God will give you a new identity that is rooted in Him. It's no longer going to be rooted in insecurities, in manipulation, in these games or strategies or tactics, and no longer out of trauma. But now you're going to be rooted on the truth based on His word. So that's pillar number one, your most strongest pillar, because from this, everything else grows. The next pillar is, of course, your mental and emotional regulation. So when you're rooted in God, you begin to have a more regulated nervous system. Why? Because you finally move out of survival mode. You begin to control your emotions, have a more regulated nervous system because your body begins to get out of fight and flight mode or freeze mode, everything that's related to survival mode. The next pillar is your feminine energy. This energy is where you begin to embody what it's like and what it truly is to be a divine feminine woman. You begin to heal the sensual side of you, the soft, the magnetic, that aura that glows from within. So it's kind of like your Esther, right, and your Ruth energy. And here you actually learn to, receive and delegate. This is something that modern women are really struggling with, is they either stay in like victim mentality or they become hyper independent, right? Where it's go, go, go. This is why women are burning out, especially single moms. They are burning out. Why? Because they are living in hyper independence. They have a hard time receiving help and delegating. And the next pillar is the masculine energy, because within you, in order to step into wholeness, you actually want to heal your feminine energy and your masculine, because your masculine energy has to do with boundaries, with structure. If you have routine and rhythm within your day, this is where your standards raise. You begin to have healthier boundaries. You begin to become a leader of your own body, a leader of your emotions, and you begin to have more control of yourself. And this is where you really become that balanced woman, right? Not just feminine, because then you will attract somebody like that's a daddy. It's not really that partnership, right? It's not really that healthy partnership. So in order to do that, you really need to heal that masculine, but also not just stay in your masculine energy. That's why it's important to heal that feminine energy and learn to receive help as well. And the final pillar, which is very important, even if you are a woman of God, and that is your financial pillar. A lot of women, because I am a relationship coach, I see a lot of women struggling because they don't have the resources to leave a toxic relationship, to leave an abusive relationship. But when you are really rooted in God, God begins to give you a new relationship with money, where you're not materialistic, but you know that because you're living in the world, we do need resources. And so when you heal this pillar, it's a strong pillar, you actually begin to have multiple sources of income, because oftentimes just a man is not enough security. Yes, it's good to have a husband that provides, but when you are a woman and you have access to funds, right? Maybe you're not working, but you freely have access to money. It could be something you're making money on your own. It could be, from your partner, but it's this healthy relationship with money where it's his, but it's also yours, and you're not limited on your spending. You can go buy, something new when you want to, or you can afford to buy a course for your self-development, right? Where you are not being restricted with finances. So these are the 5 pillars. So these 5 pillars are something that is external and something that is internal, because a lot of times women, yeah, you may hit the gym, lose the weight, yes, get confidence, but that's half of the job. The other half is your internal, how regulated you are, how emotionally intelligent you are, how well you communicate, right? Do you have effective communication? How well you communicate your boundaries? So these pillars will help you heal, but also create a healthy structure with your body, with your mind, with your soul, and in your practical life. So stay tuned, because this is just the introduction, and there are more videos to follow, because in the next videos, I will share each pillar in more detail and what the healing journey looks like when you heal each and every one of these pillars. And when every one of these pillars is rooted in you, you become that high quality woman. Not just high value, but high quality woman. See you in the next video.